Hello everyone and welcome again to this channel. My name is Daniel, and in this video today we are going to talk about what happens if the allocated visas for DV lottery program for a particular geographical region or regions are not fully utilized by the end of the fiscal year. Like an example, we have 6 regions that participate in the DV lottery. We have Africa, Asia, we have North America, South America, we have the Oceania, and those other regions that participate in the DV lottery. So each of those regions are allocated specific number of visas that will be available for them for that fiscal year. So sometimes you get that by the end of the fiscal year or before the end of the fiscal year, you may get that some regions or some countries, they have not fully utilized the allocated visas to them. So what happens to such a kind of a scenario or for those visas? So that will be our discussion in this video. Now that the DV Lottery 2025, you understand, most of the regions are not doing very well. To be specific, Africa region in the year 2025 DV lottery has not done very well. Most of the countries are moving in a slow motion when calling people for DV lottery interviews and in the process of issuing 2NLs. A case in point is Nairobi Embassy, Kenya, has been not conducting DV lottery interviews from January up to now. So the last cases they interviewed was in December 2024, and since then no other person has been invited or has received 2NL for their DV lottery visa interviews. So in this case, we need to understand what happens to this. So first and foremost, we need to understand that the DV lottery visas cannot be carried over to the next year or to the following year's program. Take an example, if DV lottery 2025 visas will not be fully exploited by the end of the fiscal year, that comes at September 30th, those visas which could have not been issued will not be transferred to the year 2026. So that's why we say that there are no carryover of visas to the following year. This means that unused visas cannot be carried over from one fiscal year to another. If the visas are not used by end of that DV lottery fiscal year, therefore you lose those visas or you just forgo them. Hence, these unused visas go into a waste. So unfortunate that if those visas are not going to be used, they will just go to a waste. They will not be used to another year. And it's also happened in the year 2020 and 2021 during the COVID-19. Most of the countries were not performing DV lottery interviews. So when they opened the interview, you get that time was not on their side. So you got that so many people lost the chance. Even others went to court, and the court had given them a hearing and they won the case, but those visas were never reviewed after even winning their cases in the courts. So that's why we say that it's so hard for the visas that were allocated for that specific year to be carried on or to be carried forward to other years. If your year is gone, it's just gone, and you now decide to participate in a fresh DV lottery process. Also, if the visas are located to a given region, if they are not fully utilized, they will not be reallocated to other areas if those areas or those regions have reached their maximum. So they can only be reallocated if those regions where the visas are transferred to, they have not reached their maximum visa allocation for that. This means that the unused visas from those regions, which are going to be reallocated to other regions, it is a very important way of doing so because they want to maximize the 55,000 visas that are allocated to each year such that they do not go a waste. Sometimes we may have additional selectees coming into place if after the initial selected applicants process, all the numbers which were given out as the selectees have not reached the maximum number of visas that are available. This will necessitate a second selection in the DV lottery of that same year, but it's not easy because nowadays when they give the selection numbers, they give more people, they select more people than the visas that are available to make sure that they don't go for the second selection. So if you are a DV lottery applicant and you are not selected, you need to keep on checking periodically into your portal and see if there is a chance for second selection, but which is very minimal. So in this case, guys, the total number of DV lottery visas available for each year is capped, and no single country that can receive more than 7% of the total visas. So even the countries, as much as you say that Kenya or other countries not performing, not doing well, most of those visas cannot be transferred to other countries, as people say, if those countries are doing very well in their interviews, it will reach a point where they will reach their maximum. And they have said that no country is supposed to receive more than 7% of the allocated visas. So that's where we have the catch. So in this case, is to encourage each other. If you are not able to be interviewed in your home country, you can transfer, if you can, to another country where they will accept your case. In case you are allowed that or given that chance, please move with speed such that you catch up with time, because we have few months remaining before the end of the DV lottery 2025. And in this case, all the visas are supposed to be allocated between now and September 30th. And if you are going to be put in administrative process, means that now your chances of being given the visas are going to be minimal. So it's good that you prepare well and have all the necessary information and documents and other things required before you go for your visa interviews. Otherwise, wish you all the best, guys. For those ones who are yet to receive their visas, their 2NLs, and those ones with the 2NLs waiting for the interviews, wish you all the best. And those ones waiting to be current in this final visa bulletin, all the best. See you in our next video.